5 o'clock on the Wednesday, and it's time for
Craig and Ryland's Magic TV Show.
I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
Welcome back to another review show right here on
Magic TV.
You get all your cues down, haven't you? That's right, and we have a bumper edition this week. We have 5 new tricks, including a classic of magic that has been brought back out. The first trick that we're going to be looking at.
I don't even know what that one is.
Yes, you do. A classic of magic that you do. A classic of magic that's been brought back out by Nielsen Magic after being off the market for a very, very long time. He's an idiot. However, we're going to go into the first review.
I don't know what it is.
Okay, so the first trick we're going to be looking at today is a classic of magic. It's a classic of magic. It got invented probably about 20 years ago now by Dill. And unfortunately, now he knows. Now the penny drops. Been bought back, and obviously it's not been available for a very long time. Dean unfortunately passed away many years ago. His legacy lives on because, you know, the coin magic he created, the tricks he created are just incredible. And Dean's box, I think, was his legacy item. It's the thing that he was known for. And it's not been available for a very long time, but Nielsen Magic have bought the rights to it and have bought it back out. Yep. And it's back and it's better than ever before. Now, Ryland's never seen Dean's box. So when we got it for review, the first thing that Ryland decided is that you're going to start working on this for your cabaret show, aren't you?
Yeah.
Like, Ryland absolutely loves this. And I'm so glad because it is an incredible piece of magic that will work for a cabaret show. It'll work for a formal close-up performance. It's not the sort of thing that you want to walk around with you. You're not going to walk around with a big box under your arm. It's not the sort of thing that you want to take table hopping. Although, to be honest, you know what? If you were doing a wedding and you were doing the bride and groom's table, the head table, I would be happy to take this in the car and for that special performance piece on the head table, do this. Because there's no angle issues at all. You know, you can do it. It's completely angle-proof. It's actually not that difficult to do, is it? And no, it's not that difficult to do. Anyway, if you've not seen it before, Ryland's going to do a performance of it. We've actually been scripting this for his cabaret show. It's not there yet. We've been working on music, working on scripting. So here's an early draft of what we might be putting into Ryland's show a little bit later on. Here's a performance of Dean's box.
Would you like to see something amazing? Well, this box is amazing. Would you like to see what it does? Well, there are 4 ways to get into the box. There's a small hole on the top, there are 2 holes in the side, and the whole front opens up. So you can see everything that is going on inside the box. Now, as well as the box, I also have 2 ropes, a red rope and a white rope. 2 ropes. Now, what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try and link these ropes together, which is going to be amazing and absolutely impossible. All I have to do is I have to put the middles inside the box. Now, when I do that, I want you to watch the ends and make sure they don't go out of sight. Now, I'm going to take them through the top, like this. So they're going to go through the top, like that. Now, the ends haven't gone out of inside the box at all. So I guess this makes this magic. Now, when I do this, people think that the ropes aren't actually linked. So I'm going to show you that the ropes are linked. You can see that the ropes are linked. Now, I'm going to do this again, but make it 20 times harder by using one thing, a magic wand. This thing is going to make it 20 times harder because of what I'm going to use it for. All I need to do is I need to put the red rope inside the box. Again, you can watch the ends. It's going to go through the white rope. You go through the box. You can see it there. You can see the 2 ends. Now, you can see the ropes aren't linked. It's not a little picture. I can move it like that. Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the wand through the ropes, like that. And again, you can still see that it's not a picture, that it is actually real. So I'm just going to take the ends and I'm just going to, well, not take the ends, but take the middle, square it up. Well, not square it up, but put them down. Now, it's going to happen very quickly what you're about to see. I just need to push that part in, that part in. It's going to happen on the count of 3. 1, 2, 3. Magic. So you can see the ropes are actually linked. Now I'll just take them out. Now the ropes are actually linked, which is pretty cool. So we've got the 2 ropes. We have the 2 ropes. In fact, you know what? To make things easier to follow, I'm only going to use one of the ropes, the white rope. Instead of the red rope, I'm going to replace it with a ring. Now, this ring is normal. I had my dad trick it. He's there. I had my dad trick it. So it's a normal ring. What I'm going to do is I'm going to put it... In fact, you know what? I'm going to put the white rope in first. Make sure I'm not cheating. Okay, so I'm going to put it through. We're going to take the ring and we're going to put it inside the box. I'm going to need this again. So I've got the magic wand. Now, I need to tap, tap, and tap. And then snap my fingers, because now you can see that the ring is on the rope. Isn't that amazing?
Right, so that was Dean's box.
Yeah.
And great performance, Ryland. Well done.
Yeah.
Now, you only started learning this, what, about 3 or 4 days ago? 1 day ago. So you only started learning it. That's after 1 day. So I'm going to ask you some questions. So first of all, why do you like this trick so much?
It's really cool.
It's
visual.
It's really cool and visual. It fooled you completely, didn't it? When I showed it you, you were like, I have no idea how that trick works.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was completely fooled by it. And it's not, like I say, it's not very difficult to do. It's a 3-phase routine. The first phase, the ropes link. The second phase, the ropes links again. The final phase, the ring goes on the rope. What's really great about it is it's such a kind of an engaging trick. It is, like Ryland says, very visual.
Yeah.
How difficult is it? I mean, you've only been practicing it for a day. I know he's been getting a bit frustrated with it. How difficult is it?
Not that difficult.
No, it's not that difficult at all, is it? You've got it's all the moves. I mean, the thing that you've been working on is the presentation. That's what's been tripping Ryland up with the script that we've been putting together for it.
Yeah.
But in terms of the actual trick, the moves aren't that difficult at all, are they?
No.
Now, when Ryland did it here in the studio, he didn't have volunteers up. But realistically, you want to have people holding onto those ropes, don't you?
Yeah.
In an ideal world, I mean, how you've scripted it is you're planning on having 2 people to come up on stage and hold the ropes. Like, we're going to have a little table, and literally he's just going to plonk the box on the table and do the routine in front of everybody with the box on the table. And I think that would be the best way to actually do it. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. Sometimes people don't do that final phase with the ring because they think it's not as strong as the other 2 phases. I disagree. I think
it's the strongest phase, isn't it?
So do I.
That fooled me to bits.
I know it did. That final phase is my final phase, my favourite phase as well. I love that moment where the ring just goes on the rope. And if you wanted to transition from that, you could transition into a ring and rope routine if you wanted to at that point. That'd be a really fun thing to do because you got the ring, you got the rope. You could then go into a ring and rope routine. You could even have...
You know how the ring works and that?
Yeah, of course I do.
You could do that one that we got from...
Oh, yeah, I see what you mean. Yeah, you could. You could actually if you wanted to, yeah.
One.
Yeah, you could if you wanted to. But yeah, not everybody's going to buy this. It's a big prop. It's an investment. You know, some people might just get it as a collector's item. It is a big prop, but it's beautiful. It really is. Like I say, we got it specifically because we wanted to put a new cabaret show together for you, didn't we? And this is a routine that we are actually planning on putting into Ryland's cabaret show.
Yeah.
But outside of using it in a cabaret show, like I said to you before, it could be used as a formal close-up piece. It could be used as a parlour trick. You'll find it. I tell you another place that would be really good for it. I don't do wedding fairs anymore, but if you still did wedding fairs, having that box on the table is a real curiosity piece. You could actually do it as part of a wedding fair. You know, as people come round, it's big. You'll see it from a distance. The presentation writes itself for a wedding, you know, tying the knot, coming together, inseparable, and at the end you've got the ring, which denotes the wedding ring going on and, you know, staying on the ring forever. There's so much that you could actually do with a wedding presentation, which is why I think if you were doing like a big table, if you were doing like a wedding breakfast and you had the top table where the bride and groom sit, you could plonk that box on there and do that as a final piece, and I think that'd be really nice to do. But yeah, I mean, I love it. I'm giving it 100%. 100%. Yeah. Well, you're actually planning on doing this. Were you talking about this potentially being your second routine in your new cabaret show?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're planning on doing something cube related and then going into this, weren't you?
Yeah. Yeah.
So, I mean, that tells you exactly what you think. You know, that second trick in the show is so important. The trick you do at the moment is Icon, isn't it, by John Morton.
I thought it was Venom.
No, Venom's the first trick.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'm giving it 100%. He's giving it 100%. It's an incredible routine. If you want something that will just be a feature piece of any show. And by the way, this would work in a kid's show as well. For older kids, not little kids, but for older kids, this would work really well.
It could work for kids.
Yeah, what, little kids as well?
Yeah, I think it would.
Yeah, you reckon?
I think.
Okay, well, you were a little kid once, so I'll
said. I'm in the middle now.
You're in the middle?
Yeah.
No, you're not 5.
Obviously.
Anyway, 100% from me, 100% from him.
Yeah.
Let's move on with the next trick, which is one that I'm going to do.
Yeah.
So next up, we have Poster Card, and this is by Federico Poeymiro. Federico, I'm sure we've reviewed something by him before. I don't know. Federico Poeymiro. And what this is called Poster Card. I don't want to tell you, this is kind of a very weird effect. Really weird. I don't want to tell you, I'm not going to give anything away into this. I'm literally just going to say, watch this, because this is kind of a bit of a weird one. So watch the performance and it'll tell you exactly what it is. Watch this.
Watch this.
Okay, so I've got Rye behind the camera. He's not sitting next to me at the moment because he's smelly. And we're going to do a trick with a pack of cards. But Rye, I'm going to get you to pick one of these cards. So as I riffle down the deck, just say stop.
Stop.
Lovely. Can you look at the card and remember it? Don't forget it.
Got it.
Got it. Cool stuff. Going to leave it down in the middle of the deck. Now, the idea is I'm going to try and find your card in the most remarkable way you can imagine. Look, all I have to do is cut the deck right there. I'm going to cut these. Now, watch. I'm going to try and find your card using all of these cards. It happens on 3. Watch. 1, 2, 3. And just like that, all of these cards stick together. Is your card there?
No.
Okay. Was it impressive that I made all those cards stick together? That was pretty good, wasn't
It's
it?
all right.
What was the name of your card?
The 4 of Hearts.
Really?
Yeah.
Because what I have here on the back is the 4 of Hearts. Boom. Okay, so that's poster card. It's kind of weird. So the poster thing that you make appear at the end, just to give you an idea of the practicality of this, that folds down into a half a deck. Yeah. So you have 26 regular cards on top, and it's really kind of self-explanatory. You have a card picked. It's lost into the pack. Picked. You cut the deck, and you end up with half the deck, which you then turn into a poster, and then you say, "Is that your card?" And they go, "No," and you turn it round, and it's the 4 of Hearts. So it's a good visual. I mean, the visual when the cards go together look really good. My issue with it is there's a couple of issues I got with it. The first issue is it's kind of I don't know, it's kind of a really random thing. It's like, why is this happening? But then I thought, I like Bigger Finish by Jay Sankey, and that's kind of a similar thing. You take 5 cards and they fuse together, and this is just half a deck. Yeah. But I don't know. I mean, the other thing is, can you grab it for me for a second? It's over there. The other issue I've got with it is this whole thing is just made with card and sellotape. Can you just bring it over for me, Ryan?
Shiny card.
Yeah. Well, that's the other thing. It's kind of very shiny, but I don't think that would affect performance. But grab a seat for me. If you look at it, and I don't think this comes across on camera, how it's made is it's just taped down. It's just pieces of card that's just taped together. And I worry about how long that's going to last. Because you're kind of throwing this thing around a little bit in order to do what you need to do.
There you go.
In order to do that. So I don't know how long this will last. It is literally just card. It's card and sellotape. Or not sellotape, but some sort of white tape. So from a how long this will last point of view, I'm not 100% sure. How long it'll last, I'm not 100% sure. I'm a little bit worried about if you're using it every single night, 5 or 6 times a night, I think it'll fall apart relatively quickly, to be perfectly honest. Also, you got to remember it
falls apart in the middle of your trick, and then you pick it up and say, you turn them all over, you go, is that your card?
Yeah. Well, the other thing that you need to consider is it is the same card every single time. So you're always going to have a 4 of Hearts. So if you're a restaurant worker, for example, and you're working a restaurant and you want a different card every time between tables, it's going to be the same card every time.
I should make one.
And also, it takes up a whole deck. Like, you can't really do anything else with this. Even though you've got 26 regular cards, even if you set the 4 aces up on top, for example, when you put that down there, it's kind of maybe going to be a little bit noticeable. So I think that you've got to really just use this trick. Now, they don't say on the tutorial, but the other option is you could you could switch this in. So you could have this in the pocket, and you could switch it in at the end of a routine. So you could maybe have a multiple selection routine, for example. You might So you could. I'm just thinking this through as I'm speaking to you. So you could have a multiple selection routine and have 5 or 6 people pick cards. You have a reason to switch the deck during the course of the multiple selection routine, and at the end you cut and you do this, and all of the cards fuse together, and then when you turn it round, it's the 4 of hearts. That's probably the best way to do it.
Yeah.
That would be as a finale to a routine like that. The tutorial is very, very, very basic. It's like a 10-minute tutorial. There's no live performances. Mind you, there were no live performances on Dean's box, but at least you can see if you go on YouTube and type in Dean's box, there's hundreds of videos of people doing it and Dean doing it and so on and so forth.
You type in this, what do you get?
Nothing. Probably this video eventually, because I think we're the only people that have reviewed it so far. But yeah, I mean, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's okay. It's not going to set the world on fire. I'm not going to do it. You said to me that you might consider doing it on Instagram.
Yeah, maybe.
But not live.
No.
So I mean, but you're always you post a video on Instagram every day. So you're always looking for new material to put on Instagram. In terms of the actual trick itself.
Like me, there is like thousands of tricks coming out every day.
Yeah, that's very true. But you wouldn't do this on live.
No.
Okay. I wouldn't do this. I think the visual is nice.
79?
79, the visual is quite nice. I do like that moment. I think that looks quite good, and the 4 of hearts reveal is cool. And the reset's nice. I mean, to reset it, you literally just do this. That's the reset. So between tables, It's actually a really quick reset.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it is what it is. It's not something I would do. But that's not to say it's a bad trick. It's not a bad trick. It's a good trick, but I just think you'd have to keep it in good nick, because I've got a feeling with repeated use it could fall apart. I'm going to give it 60%. I'm not going to use it, but I don't want to criticise it too much, because it is okay. It works. If you like the effect, you're not going to be disappointed. I'm just not too keen on it as a product. What about you?
Yeah, 79.
79. So you actually like it, but you wouldn't do it yourself.
Yeah.
You wouldn't like it. Yeah. So 79% from Ryland, 60% from me. If you like it, it's called Poster Card. It's available from all good magic dealers. Now, let's have a look at another Rubik's Cube trick. Okay, so next up, we have 4D Rubik's Cube by Tora Magic. By Tora Magic. Now, this is interesting. Actually.
Yeah.
I originally didn't like it. But then when we came up with that handling, I actually like it a lot more now.
Well, let's show them the handling.
Well, yeah. We're not going to do anything. We're not going to talk about what it is. Let's show you a performance of it first of all, and then we'll talk about what you get, the pros and the cons. Let's have a look at that right now.
Okay, so here I have a picture of a Rubik's Cube, but the thing is, this Rubik's Cube is not coloured in. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to snap my fingers, I take it out, and now you can see that the cube is actually coloured in. So we got this Rubik's Cube, but the thing is, it's not real. So what you have to do, you just open it up, and you can make a real Rubik's Cube appear inside.
So that was 4D Rubik's Cube. Now we have changed the handling slightly, haven't we? And we'll talk about that. So first of all, you've got the colouring, you've got the Rubik's Cube colouring in.
Yeah.
What they suggest you do is you're left with this picture of the Rubik's Cube.
Yeah.
They suggest that you throw it up in the air and it looks like a cube. It looks like the picture of the cube goes up in the air, and you catch it. And then when they look back at the picture, it's sort of blank. So it looks like you've coloured in a cube, and then when you throw it up in the air, it becomes real. Now, we played with that for quite a while. A few days we played with that. And we just can't make it look good, because the problem is, in order to do that, you've got to flip the whole picture around.
And then you can't catch it.
And you've got to catch it at the same time. And you want to catch it, because if it lands on the table,
it bounces.
And it's not a real Rubik's Cube, and you'd expect it to make a noise or something like that, and a Rubik's Cube wouldn't bounce, like you said.
Yeah, it'd be like heavy and gold.
So we're going to say the colouring in bit was good, but the production wasn't good.
I would like it if you could actually so it's not colouring in, and then it colours in when you're not looking.
Like the original. And we'll talk about that.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that. But first of all, the way that you did it, which was your idea, and I thought it was a really good idea, was to colour in the picture and then put it down on the table and openly open it up, and like this 3D cube is just sitting there, which is a really good way of doing it, because now that for me is as good a visual. I love the idea of just showing that it's completely flat and then boom, a cube appears. I think that looks really good. Now, this is not a close-up item. This is kind of a stage item, because that cube is not a real cube. It will look good from a distance. However, it's not a real cube. You can't mix it up. You can't do anything with it. You've got to be careful of it. If you were doing this close up, you'd see that wasn't a real cube. So the way to deal with that, I think, is if you're doing it on stage or you're doing it as part of a kid's show or something, and we'll talk about that in a minute, would be to do what Ryland did, where you open it up and the cube appears, and then say, right, I need somebody to mix this up. Who's going to mix it up? And you take the cube, you're holding the cube, you pick the picture up in the same hand, you just go to put the picture away in your case, and you switch the cube as you put the picture away in the case. And so now you can throw the cube out to whoever you want to have mix it up. And I think that, I think that would be the way to do it. That would be the way to do it. Now, in terms of the colouring in, we've both used, I think it might be Jack Hughes, although I could be wrong. Alec Powell sells them, LB and Magic. The colouring in routine, you did on Instagram ages ago. The original version, or the version that Alex sells, you can show it, like you said, you can show it black and white, you can show it black and white, you can show it black and white, and whenever you want to.
You're like, why is it not doing it? You look away, and then it is actually open. Well, you can see that it's got it dim, but you're looking away. They say it's got it dim, and you're arguing with them, saying, basically, look, no see.
Look, no see,
yeah. You're telling them, no, it's not. You close it, and then you're like, no, it's not, and you look at it, and it's not. And you do that 5 or 6 times, and then eventually you're catching, you're like, oh!
Exactly. You can't do that with this. You just got to pull it out and have it colour in. But that moment does look nice. And what they suggest on the download that comes with it, and again, it's a very short download with no real live performance. But how they suggest doing it with the download is they suggest having another piece of card which isn't supplied, and actually drawing a picture of a cube on there. So you actually you've penciled in the cube, and you show a thing and you say, I'm going to draw a picture. Can you guess what it is? It's a Rubik's cube, and then you can pull the picture out, colour it in, and then you can make the cube appear. So there's lots of different options. I think this would look great in a kid's show. I think that's where people would use this. If you do cube magic in a kid's show, and you do, when Ryland does his kids show, he actually does Henry Evans. He does Harrius's cube in bottle, don't you? And you give it out to the birthday kid. So you actually give a cube in bottle to the birthday kid. We keep Henry Harrius and cube in bottle, to be honest. But I mean, between you and me giving them out at gigs, they don't last very long, do they? Let's be honest. But I think this would work great at a kid's show. So what you do, in my opinion, because when you do the Henry Harrius thing, you don't do it the way I do walk around. You use the shell the same as you did it in BGT, don't you? So what I suggest you do is you'd have the shell in your case, and you'd show the picture of the. Hey, does anyone know what this is? Can you guess what colours are there on the Rubik's cube? Who knows the colours? Yes, what color? Red. Okay, what other colour? So you get the kids to shout out the colours. You then get them to do all the invisible colouring in and all of that. You could even get some crayons and get them to pull the crayons out and do all the invisible colouring in stuff that you normally do in a kid's show. And then when you take it out, you've got that beautiful moment of it colouring in. And you say, well, that's not a real cube. I need a real cube. Boom. And then you open it up, and now you've got the cube there. And you say, well, I need something else. Let me go and get a bottle. And then you switch for the cube shell as you get the bottle. And you say, this is a bottle. I also need a bag. And then you go into the cube and bottle, and you give it out for the birthday kid. I think in a kid's show, that would be incredible.
Yeah, genius.
What do you reckon?
Yeah.
The only thing to be careful of, go get it, is that, again, like with the other trick. There. Just that. It's right there. It's made out of cardboard.
Yeah.
Like the ones that you would use in the kids shows and for non-stop kids are made out of plastic proper hardcore frame. Well, these are made out of paper, really. So you'd have.
Yeah, is it paper?
Yeah, it's kind of like card. It's not paper. It's card.
Well, that one's card. I think that one's.
Yeah.
A bit of a plastic.
A little bit of plastic card. So you'd have to be.
Plasticky card.
You'd have to be careful. Is the point I'm making? You wouldn't want to. I know when I do a kid show, I just throw everything back in the case. I'm like, right, dump that in there. I'm getting the hell out of here. So you'd have to be careful of this if you're going to use it. But it does pack small, play big.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I really like it. I'm going to actually... I'm not going to do this, but I think you should do it in your kids' show. When we do the deluxe show together, when we do the deluxe show together and you do your Venom Cube act, I would open with this. I would do this in the kids' show together in the deluxe show.
Maybe.
I'm going to give this... I'm not going to do it. I'm going to give it 79%. But I think for you, I'd give it a lot higher. I really think you should do this.
89.
89. 89% from Ryland. 79% from me. Let's move on with another trick.
Yeah.
Okay, so the next trick we've got today is ECC by N2G. Now, N2G...
Tongue twister.
ECC by N2G. I've got some serious issues with this trick.
Yes.
However, okay, so how am I going to go into this? Right, okay, I'm just going to do it. Right, okay. I'm sorry, I'm just thinking through in my head what to say because I'm really quite annoyed about this, and let me explain why. So ECC by N2G. We are hyper aware. We've reviewed so many N2G things in the past. N2G, there's good points to them and there's bad points to them. Generally, as a rule, their coins are well made. There was one set that I think was badly made, but generally, as a rule, the coins are well made and they are always quite innovative. In fact, I use RBG in my actual act, which is one of their coin sets we reviewed about a year ago.
I use Hopping Half.
You use the Hopping Halves one, and I've incorporated N28, I think it is, or N29. It was the one with the coin and the hole that goes into the side.
Yeah,
of the
that's N28.
Yeah, I actually incorporated that into the Keymaster routine, which I do when I'm walking around. So I like their stuff. Very well made. This is very well made. The issue we always have with N2G are their instructions. Because they're normally only about 15-20 minutes long. They're always subtitled incorrectly. And
What do you mean
incorrectly as in the subtitles don't match what's happening on the screen. And it's always and it's just rubbish, and you have to watch it back about 450 times just to try and figure out what the trick is. So the first problem I have with this is that this is complete. Put your fingers in your ears. This is just taking the piss. Okay, you can take them out again now. The reason you can take them out again now. You can take them out again now. You can take them out.
What?
Take them out.
What?
I'm punching you in the face in a second.
What? What was that for?
Right, listen. It's 3.5 minute tutorial.
Okay.
3.5 minute tutorial.
Jeez.
Please bear that in mind when you watch the performance. That's not my main issue with it. But bear in mind that their tutorial on how to do this trick is shorter than the performance time it's going to take me to perform the trick. Now, watch the trick. I know, right? Watch the trick. Watch how many phases there are in this trick. 4, hang on, I'm thinking. 4, 8, 9. There's about 10 phases in this trick. 3.5 minutes, that's how long the tutorial is. Let's have a look at the performance first of all. 4 coins, these are Chinese coins. They have Chinese symbols on them and they have a hole in the middle, ancient oriental coins. 4 coins altogether. I'm going to show you a classic of magic. I'm going to make the coins jump from one place to another. From over there over to there, you know what's going to happen. The first one goes like that. 2 hands and a little bit of magic. Now you see the coin ended up over there, but it did start with these 3 over here. Now when I do this, people say, hang on a minute, I didn't know what was going to happen. Do it again. So just for you guys, I'll do it again. 3 over there, 1 over here. The next one goes exactly the same way. You don't see it go, but it goes nonetheless. So that's 2 and 2. Let me I'll tell you what I'll do. I'll do this one this way. We'll cross hands just to make it a little bit more interesting. That's coin number 3. The last one, hardest one, let me go back the other way. The reason this is the hardest is because there's a rule in magic. You have to kind of do something a little bit different. So for the final coin, I'll make the other 3 jump back to join it. And the reason is, each one of these coins has a different role, but one of them is a leader coin. This one over here is the leader coin. And I'll prove that to you. I'll put the coins in this position. Magicians call this a matrix. It's the position of the coins, not the Keanu Reeves film. And it makes it a lot harder to do it because if I'm using this formation, that coin's got a lot further to go. But it has to go over there so that it can make it over to the leader coin over there. Let me try that again. Watch. This one next. You know what's going to happen? I'm going to make it go long distance up there. It has to go up there because that's the only way I can make it go over there. That's 1, 2, 3. That one's the hardest one. Let me see if I can do it. Watch. Here we go. From here to here. That's all 4. And that's the 4 coins right there in the corner. Now, there is a rule in magic, and the rule is never repeat a trick. The first time it's entertainment. Second time it's educational. But I'm going to do it again. Watch. 1 coin goes here. 1 coin goes here. This coin goes here and this coin goes here. Now, the problem that I have with this trick is I can only cover 2 coins at the same time. So, for example, I can cover these 2 up here, absolutely. But if I cover these 2, I can't cover these 2. And if I cover these 2, I can't cover these 2. So I can only cover 2. So to do this, to do what I'm going to do is going to be quite difficult. But watch. All I have to do is this. And they go all at the same time, which is pretty cool. Because there's a rule in magic. You need a big finish. Every single magic trick needs a big finish. So a big finish would look like this. If I split those 2 coins like that, that would be impressive. Obviously, if you missed it, I can do it again. I can split them again. I can split the coins as many times as you want to, which is pretty good. But if I split them one more time, we end up like that. And that is an absolute miracle. So that's the performance. Now, it is a good trick. That moment, I mean, you've got, and well, there's an issue that we'll get to in a minute. Yeah, it's a good trick. The tutorial is dreadful. The camera is shot from the worst possible angle you can possibly imagine. I had to watch this tutorial. Normally, I have to watch an N2G tutorial about 400 times. This time, I had to watch it about 450 million times because it is the worst possible angle. Half of it, basically, he's just performing the trick. That's all he's doing. There's not even subtitles this time. He's just performing the trick, but the camera is over the shoulder. So half the time, and he's lifting his hand up occasionally to show that he's got a coin there where he's not meant to have a coin there. The amount of times I had to go, hang on, let me just rewind that. Let me just rewind. Did he do that? No. The moment where he does the... I just couldn't follow that at all. Like, it was a nightmare. The tutorial is dreadful. 3.5 minute tutorial to learn that routine, right? That's just ridiculous. And also, they haven't even bothered putting music on this time. It's like they've got to the point where I can imagine in the boardroom of N2G, it's like, right, okay, yeah, we're bringing out some of the best coin sets in the world. We've got a plan for another coin set. Oh, that's really good because it's the coins are bouncing around all over the place. That looks really good. Yeah. Okay. So what we can do? How long is the tutorial going to be? Oh, it's going to be about 3.5 minutes. They're just banging them out now. They just couldn't care less. Not only could they not care less, like I say, there's not even any music over the top this time. All they've got is what sounds like angry people shouting in the background. It's like that they've just set up shop in the middle of a cafe and they just thought, yeah, we'll film the explosion here. We just don't care. We don't care. At this point, we just don't care. So the tutorial is terrible. Unless you've got experience as a coin magician, don't buy this. Do not buy this. Do not buy this because you're not going to be able to follow it at all. At all. It's only because I've been doing coin magic a long time that I was able to kind of follow it. And also, that's not the main problem. The main problem is, this is not even theirs to teach. This is basically Explosion by Dill, with Translocation by John Kennedy thrown in on the first phase. This is basically Explosion. We talked about Dill before. Dill, I know you haven't really watched much of Dill stuff, but you know his Dean's box, obviously. Yeah. Dill was one of the greatest coin magicians of all time. Dill was the first person to teach magic with a flipper coin. You know, I do so much stuff with the flipper coin. Dean was the market leader when it came to flipper coin magic. And Explosion was the trick that everybody wanted. And I remember buying a Dill Explosion from Jamie Schoolcraft, and I've still got it in dollars. Beautiful set. Never bothered learning it. Matthew Wright, I remember Matthew Wright contacting me years ago saying, have you got an Explosion set? I'm pretty sure, though I don't know for sure, but I'm fairly sure that Matt used it in his Fissam winning act. Like, Explosion was incredible. And basically what we just have here is Explosion by Dill, right? And as I say, the first phase where the coins are jumping across is Translocation, or a variation of Translocation by John Kennedy. Do you think they even... Now, is it independent creation? You're telling me that someone can independently create that exact routine? You're telling me that that's independent creation? Dill's Explosion. Do you think that's independent creation? I don't think it is. But even if it was, somebody would have said to them as they're workshopping this and as they're trialing it, by the way, mate, that's Dean Dill's explosion there, by the way. That's that routine. That's Dean's routine. But no, there's no crediting on the project at all. There's no, hey, this is our version of Dean Dill's explosion. And by our version, I mean exactly the same bloody thing with hardly any differences at all, including the only difference is that they do the 16 coin explosion at the end, nowhere near as well. I remember the first time I saw Dean Dill do explosion, it was on I'm pretty sure, again, my memory's fuzzy because I'm old, but I'm pretty sure it was on Lee Asher and Paul Wilson's Hit the Road DVD, where they were going around America and meeting different magicians, and each magician was teaching a different trick. And they bumped into David Regal and a whole bunch of people. And I'm pretty sure they went to Dean Dill's hairdressers. Oh, by the way, Dean Dill was a hairdresser. He had a barber's shop when he was alive, and it was half barber shop, half magic shop. You went in, had your hair cut, and then you got a magic trick. Seriously, not kidding. Have I ever shown you my Dean's table?
No.
It's the most amazing trick ever. I've got it in the warehouse. I've got it like in the warehouse, all packaged up, beautiful. I'll bring it home and I'll show you. It's amazing. Anyway, I died.
starting to like Dean.
Oh, he's amazing. He's amazing. I've got some DVDs. Dean's quite a few of his DVDs. You want to sit down and watch them with me at some point?
Yeah.
Yeah, you'd love it. You'd love it. Anyway, this N2G. You've always had issues with your tutorials.
Yeah.
You've always had issues with your tutorials, but what you've done here is just wrong. And I know I'm hypocritical for talking about crediting issues, but hopefully I've kind of moved past that and I've redeemed myself a little bit, but with red and so on and so forth. But this here, this is Dean Dill's explosion. Now I don't know, but I know that, for example, we looked at Dean's box, right? I know Nielsen bought the rights for Dean's box from Dean's estate. What you're doing here by bringing this out is just taking money from Dean's estate. I don't know who owns the rights, but what I know is if you did own the rights to this trick, you would have included them. You would have shouted about it from the rooftops. As it happens, you haven't. This is Dean Dill's explosion. I don't know whether you needed to buy the rights or whether you needed to credit, but something should have been done. So as it is, we've got a well-made set of coins. If you want a well-made set of coins that you can use for Dean's explosion, then this is a well-made set of coins. If you want a coherent tutorial, don't look here, because it is not a coherent tutorial. It is the worst tutorial I've ever seen. They've spent more time looking at creating the trailer than they have the tutorial. It is a giant Mickey take. If you want something that's actually original to N2G and not a rip-off of one of the greatest coin magicians of all time, then look elsewhere, because you're not going to find that here. What you're going to find is a half-baked tutorial that's basically teaching you badly how to do one of the greatest coin tricks of all time. That's what we have. It's getting 0% from me. Doesn't mean it's not a well-made set, it is, but it's getting 0% from me. What about you?
Yeah.
0%?
Yeah.
Yeah? I mean, man, if you want to learn how to do this, you know what? I'll give you my silver dollar set and I'll teach you how to do Dean's explosion. But don't use these.
No.
But thank you. We've just tidied the studio, so we can't throw stuff across the studio anymore. We'll get in trouble with your mum. But 0% from me, 0% from Ryland. We've got one last trick. Let's have a look at that. Yeah. So final up, boy. So for the final, for that, why can't I speak? Why can't I? For the final review, we're looking at 7 magic, aren't we? 7 magic. Yeah. We're looking at 7 magic, another 7 magic creation, and this is a interesting way to produce anything from a cardboard tube. You show a cardboard tube, it's empty, and then you dump out whatever you want to. Let's have a look at it. We're going to do a performance of this. By the way, this part of the show is sponsored by the 1914. If you would like the most amazing products, please go visit the1914.com. The Providence deck that you're about to see in this tutorial, it's not a tutorial, is it? The Providence deck that you're going to see in this performance is available exclusively from the 1914. Let's do this.
Do you like card tricks? Well, if you do, I guess you're in luck. Because here I have a bunch of cards.
By the way, it's not sponsored by the 1914, but we just wanted to produce something cool from there, and so we just shoved a load of Providence decks in there because me and Rye both love Providence decks. And however many we produced, we've still got 3 times as many up there because we love Providence decks. They rock.
Oh, yeah, we have.
Yeah, we've got tons of them.
I've only just seen them.
Yeah, we've got tons of them.
Literally 50 times.
Anyway, what we have here, we have the Providence deck. We made the Providence decks appear. What you just saw, I know, right? It's basically a way. Shut up. It's a way of producing anything. It reminds me a little bit of the old bowling ball from Briefcase.
Oh,
it reminds me a little bit of that. You've got a mini version that you do close up, the golf thing where you take a little briefcase and you take a golf ball.
There's nothing in there.
Exactly. It reminds me of that. And the nice thing about this is the versatility. In the tutorial, they give you lots of different ideas. No live performances, but apparently that's the norm these days. But they give you a load of ideas of what you can actually use this for. So you can use it to make anything appear that you want to. I mean, playing cards. I like the idea of walking out on a parlour show and walking out and just showing the thing and saying, right, who here likes card tricks? Brilliant. And just making a load of cards appear. I think that'd be really funny. I like the idea of putting a load of ping pong balls in there, a load of table tennis balls, and just bringing this thing out and somehow forcing a sport. What sport have you got? Ping pong. Yeah, I knew that you'd say that. Look, and you reach in and you take out a bat and you go, hey, don't forget about the balls. And you produce like literally 1,000 balls out of there. I think that'd be really fun.
And then just hit them across the room.
Yeah, right. It's fun. I mean, it's not a close-up trick. It's probably something that you could do in a kid's show. It's something you could do in a cabaret show. It's actually something that could work in an illusion show. But what you'd need is you'd need a context for it. It's a bit of a random thing. You know, it's a bit random. I've got this box. I'm going to make something appear. It is very random, but it's a fun trick. It is a very fun trick. It's quite commercial. It's quite practical.
You can't fit a football in there. Oh.
No, you can't fit a football in there.
Tennis balls.
Tennis balls you can fit in. You can fit a whole bunch of tennis balls in. It's just nice, yeah. If you like, it's a variation of the bowling ball. Oh, do you?
We can make a third.
God, can you imagine the mess with you making it in the cabaret? Good grief. Anyway,
ping pong balls everywhere.
I do want to try and find a way to put it in the show. I mean, obviously, what we did here isn't.
Isn't.
Yeah, well, I don't know. Just playing cards. I think that's quite funny.
Yeah.
You know, because you don't do any card tricks in your show.
Right. Who here likes card tricks? Box empty. Me. All right. Let's do some card tricks.
You know what I mean? It'd be quite funny.
No. You just take it and you just like drop all of them and you catch one and like. New Providence deck. Let me just open this up.
So yeah, can you imagine if you set every single one of the decks of cards as an invisible deck? So you say, yeah, you got your prediction. You have them name a card. So you come out with this. You come out with this empty box, and you go, look, I've got a deck of cards. I've got an empty box here. Do me a favour, name a playing card. 7 of diamonds. If I told you I could make the 7 of diamonds appear out of here, would that be good? Yeah. Watch. Abracadabra. Dump out like 40 packs of cards. And you go, there's got to be a 7 of diamonds in one of these. But then you get them to come up and pick one of the decks of cards up. And you go, that one. Think about this. I made all of these decks of cards appear from nowhere. And you picked this one up. And you named a card. You named the 7 of diamonds. Isn't it weird that that's the only deck with the 7 of diamonds turned over in the middle of the deck? What an opener! Shut up, that's mine for my cabaret. That's mine. I'm having it.
I said it first.
I came up with it.
I said it first.
Gimmick infringement. No.
I said it first.
Hey, with that idea, 100%. I love that. Yeah.
1,000.
I love that. That's really good. I'm genuinely going to do that. I'm genuinely going to do that. I love that. Right, cool. 100% from me. What about you?
1,000.
1,000% from him.
I'll beat you. I'm doing
it. 100% from me. 1,000% from him. It's nice because it's going in my act. Anyway, not his, mine. Let's wrap this up.
And that's another review show in the bag. That's another review show in the bag. That's another review show in the bag.
It is another review show in the bag. Guys, thank you once again for joining us right here on Magic TV. Don't forget, if you want to see more videos like this, like the video, subscribe to the channel. Also, we will be back next Wednesday with another review show. I'll be back flying solo on Sunday with a review show special. Also, Two things. One, if you haven't already joined the Netrix, please do so. It's
Yep.
www.thenetrix.com, where
.com.
Ryland spends most of his time. And also, don't forget, if you haven't already subscribed to Ryland, he's on well over 12,000 followers now on Instagram.
Yep.
And
When
you're
you
on
said that, I think you meant to say follow.
followers, sorry. But on subscribers on YouTube, he's on almost 1,000 YouTube subscribers.
800 something.
850, I think it is
something.
now. So, anyway, thanks very much for watching. We will be back
Well,
again.
50 million thousand more than me.
Yeah, YouTube's my thing.
Yeah,
we'll be
Instagram's mine.
we'll be back again soon. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you again soon. I'm Craig.
I'm Ryland.
We'll see you next week. Take care. Bye, everyone.
Bye bye.